It is Tuesday, July 31st. I'm going to read Liber HAD, subfigura DLV, or 555, AA publication in Class D for winners of the Ordeal X. Imprimatur 666, Neteru, VVVVV, OM 74. This is the book of the cult of the infinite within. The aspirant is Nuit. Nuit is the infinite expansion of the rose. Hadit, the infinite contraction of the rood. Instruction of a VVVVV. First, let the aspirant learn in his heart the second chapter of the book of the law. Instruction of VVVVV. Worship, i.e., identify thyself with Nuit, as a lambent flame of blue, all-touching, all-penetrant, her lovely hands upon the black earth, and her lithe body arched for love, and her soft feet not hurting the little flowers, even as she is imaged in the stela of revealing. This is the first practice of meditation. Liber AL, chapter 1, verse 26. Then saith the prophet and slave of the beauteous one, Who am I, and what shall be the sign? So she answered him, bending down, a lambent flame of blue, all-touching, all-penetrant, and her lithe body arched for love, and her soft feet not hurting the little flowers. Thou knowest, and the sign shall be my ecstasy, the consciousness of the continuity of existence, the omnipresence of my body. Let him further identify himself with the heart of Nuit, whose ecstasy is that of her children, and her joy to see their joy. Who saith, I love you, I yearn to you? Pale or purple, veiled or voluptuous, I who am all pleasure and purple, in drunkenness of the innermost sense desire you. Put on the wings and arouse the coiled splendor within you. Come unto me. Sing the rapturous love song unto me. Burn to me perfumes, wear to me jewels. Drink to me, for I love you, I love you. I am the blue-lidded daughter of sunset. I am the naked brilliance of the voluptuous night sky. To me, to me. This continues the first practice of meditation. Liber AL, chapter 1, verse 13. I am above you and in you. My ecstasy is in yours. My joy is to see your joy. Liber AL, chapter 1, verse 61, 63, 64, and 65. But to love me is better than all things. If under the night stars in the desert thou presently burnest mine incense before me, invoking me with a pure heart, and the serpent flame therein, thou shalt come a little to lie in my bosom. For one kiss wilt thou then be willing to give all, but whoso gives one particle of dust shall lose all in that hour. Ye shall gather goods and store of women and spices, ye shall wear rich jewels, ye shall exceed the nations of the earth in splendor and pride, but always in the love of me, and so shall ye come to my joy. I charge you earnestly to come before me in a single robe, and covered with a rich headdress. I love you, I yearn to you. Pale or purple, veiled or voluptuous, I who am all pleasure and purple, and drunkenness of the innermost sense, desire you. Put on the wings and arouse the coiled splendor within you. Come unto me. Sing the rapturous love song unto me. Burn to me perfumes, wear to me jewels. Drink to me, for I love you, I love you. I am the blue-lidded daughter of sunset. I am the naked brilliance of the voluptuous night sky. To me, to me. Let the aspirant apply himself to comprehend Hadit as an unextended point clothed within a light ineffable, and let him beware lest he be dazzled by that light. This is the first practice of intelligence. Liber AL, chapter 2, verse 2. Come, all ye, and learn the secret that hath not yet been revealed. I, Hadit, am the complement of Nu, my bride. I am not extended, and Cobbs is the name of my house. Let the aspirant apply himself to comprehend Hadit as the ubiquitous center of every sphere conceivable. This is the second practice of intelligence. Liber AL, chapter 2, verse 3. In the sphere I am everywhere the center, as she, the circumference, is nowhere found. Let the aspirant apply himself to comprehend Hadit as the soul of every man, and of every star, conjoining this in his understanding with the word. Liber HAD, chapter 1, verse 2, every man and every woman is a star. Let this conception be that of life, the giver of life, and let him perceive that therefore the knowledge of Hadit is the knowledge of death. This is the third practice of intelligence. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verse 6. I am the flame that burns in every heart of man and in the core of every star. I am life and the giver of life, yet therefore is the knowledge of me the knowledge of death. Let the aspirant apply himself to comprehend Hadit as the magician or maker of illusion, and the exorcist or destroyer of illusion, under the figure of the axle of the wheel, and the cube in the circle, also as the universal soul of motion. This conception harmonizes Thoth and Harpocrates in a very complete and miraculous manner. Thoth is both the Magus of Tarot and the universal Mercury. Harpocrates both the destroyer of Typhon and the babe in the lotus. Note that the ibis position formulates this conception most exactly. This is the fourth practice of intelligence. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verse 7. I am the magician and the exorcist. I am the axle of the wheel, and the cube in the circle. Come unto me is a foolish word, for it is I that go. Let the aspirant apply himself to comprehend Hadit as the perfect that is not, and solve the mystery of the numbers of Hadit, and his components by his right ingenium. This is the fifth practice of intelligence. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verses 15 and 16. For I am perfect, being not, and my number is 9 by the fools, but with the just I am 8, and 1 in 8, which is vital, for I am none indeed. The empress and the king are not of me, for there is a further secret. I am the empress and the Hierophant, thus 11, as my bride is 11. Let the aspirant, bearing him as a great king, root out and destroy without pity all things in himself and his surroundings, which are weak, dirty, or diseased, or otherwise unworthy, and let him be exceeding proud and joyous. This is the first practice of ethics. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verses 18, 19, 20, and 21. These are dead, these fellows, they feel not. We are not for the poor and sad. The lords of the earth are our kinsfolk. Is God to live in a dog? No, but the highest are of us. They shall rejoice, our chosen. Who sorroweth is not of us. Beauty and strength, leaping laughter and delicious languor, force and fire are of us. We have nothing with the outcast and the unfit. Let them die in their misery, for they feel not. Compassion is the vice of kings. Stamp down the wretched and the weak. This is the law of the strong. This is our law and the joy of the world. Think not, O king, upon that lie, that thou must die. Verily, thou shalt not die, but live. Now let it be understood, if the body of the king dissolve, he shall remain in pure ecstasy forever. Nuit, Hadit, Rahur Kuit, the sun, strength and sight, light, these are for the servants of the star and the snake. Let the aspirant apply himself to comprehend Hadit as the snake that giveth knowledge and delight in bright glory, who stirreth the hearts of men with drunkenness. This snake is blue and gold, its eyes are red, and its spangles green and ultraviolet. That is, as the most exalted form of the serpent Kundalini. This is the sixth practice of intelligence. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verses 22, 50, and 51. I am the snake that giveth knowledge and delight in bright glory, and stir the hearts of men with drunkenness. To worship me take wine and strange drugs, whereof I will tell my prophet, and be drunk thereof. They shall not harm ye at all. It is a lie, this folly against self. The exposure of innocence is a lie. Be strong, O man. Lust, enjoy all things of sense and rapture. Fear not that any god shall deny thee for this. Blue am I, and gold in the light of my bride, but the red gleam is in my eyes, and my spangles are purple and green. Purple beyond purple, it is the light higher than eyesight. This is the second practice of meditation. Liber chapter 2, verse 22. I am the snake that giveth knowledge and delight and bright glory, and stir the hearts of men with drunkenness. To worship me take wine and strange drugs, whereof I will tell my prophet, and be drunk thereof. They shall not harm ye at all. It is a lie, this folly against self. The exposure of innocence is a lie. Be strong, O man. Lust, enjoy all things of sense and rapture. Fear not that any god shall deny thee for this. Let the aspirant take wine and strange drugs, according to his knowledge and experience, and be drunk thereof. The aspirant should be in so sensitive a condition that a single drop, perhaps even the smell, should suffice. This is the first practice of magic art. Liber chapter 2, verse 22. I am the snake that giveth knowledge and delight and bright glory, and stir the hearts of men with drunkenness. To worship me take wine and strange drugs, whereof I will tell my prophet, and be drunk thereof. They shall not harm ye at all. It is a lie, this folly against self. The exposure of innocence is a lie. Be strong, O man. Lust, enjoy all things of sense and rapture. Fear not that any god shall deny thee for this. Let the aspirant concentrate his consciousness in the rude cross set up upon the mountain, and identify himself with it. Let him be well aware of the difference between its own soul and that thought which it habitually awakens in his own mind. This is the third practice of meditation, and as it will be found, a comprehension and harmony and absorption of the practices of intelligence. Liber chapter 2, verse 22. I am the snake that giveth knowledge and delight and bright glory, and stir the hearts of men with drunkenness. To worship me take wine and strange drugs, whereof I will tell my prophet, and be drunk thereof. They shall not harm ye at all. It is a lie, this folly against self. The exposure of innocence is a lie. Be strong, O man. Lust, enjoy all things of sense and rapture. Fear not that any god shall deny thee for this. Let the aspirant apply himself to comprehend Hadit as the unity which is the negative, Ein Elohim. This is the seventh practice of intelligence. Liber chapter 2, verse 23. I am alone, there is no God where I am. Let the aspirant live the life of a strong and beautiful being, proud and exalted, contemptuous of and fierce toward all that is base and vile. This is the second practice of ethics. Liber chapter 2, verses 24, 25, 45 through 49, 52, and 56 through 60. For there are also of my friends who be hermits. Now think not to find them in the forests or on the mountain, but in the beds of purple, caressed by magnificent beasts of women, with large limbs, and fire and light in their eyes, and masses of flaming hair about them. There shall ye find them. Ye shall see them at rule, at victorious armies, at all the joy, and there shall be in them a joy 1,000,000 times greater than this. Beware lest any force another, king against king. Love one another with burning hearts. On the low men trample in the fierce lust of your pride, in the day of your wrath. Ye are against the people, O my chosen. There is death for the dogs. Dost thou fail? Art thou sorry? Is fear in thine heart? Where I am, these are not. Pity not the fallen. I never knew them. I am not for them. I console not. I hate the consoled and the consoler. I am unique and conqueror. I am not of the slaves that perish. Be they damned and dead. Amen. This is of the four. There is a fifth who is invisible, and therein am I as a babe in an egg. There is a veil, that veil is black. It is the veil of the modest woman. It is the veil of sorrow and the pall of death. This is none of me. Tear down that lying spectre of the centuries. Veil not your vices in virtuous words. These vices are my service. Ye do well, and I will reward you here and hereafter. Begone, ye mockers, even though ye laugh in my honor, Ye shall laugh not long. Then, when ye are sad, know that I have forsaken you. He that is righteous shall be righteous still. He that is filthy shall be filthy still. Yea, deem not of change. Ye shall be as ye are, and not other. Therefore the kings of the earth shall be the kings forever. The slaves shall serve. There is none that shall be cast down or lifted. All is ever as it was. Yet there are masked ones, my servants. It may be that yonder beggar is a king. A king may choose his garment as he will. There is no certain test, but a beggar cannot hide his poverty. Beware, therefore, love all, lest perchance is a king concealed. Say you so? Fool, if he be a king, thou canst not hurt him. Therefore strike hard and low, and to hell with them, master. Let the aspirant apply himself to comprehend Hadit according to this 26th verse of the 2nd chapter of the Book of the Law, and this shall be easy for him if he have well accomplished the 3rd practice of meditation. This is the 8th practice of intelligence. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verse 26. I am the secret serpent coiled about to spring. In my coiling there is joy. If I lift up my head, I and my Nuit are one. If I droop down mine head and shoot forth venom, then is rapture of the earth, and I and the earth are one. Let the aspirant destroy reason in himself according to the practice in Liber 474. This is the 4th practice of meditation. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verses 27 through 33. There is great danger in me, for who doth not understand these runes shall make a great miss. He shall fall down into the pit called Because, and there he shall perish with the dogs of reason. Now a curse upon Because and his kin. May Because be accursed forever. If Will stops and cries why, invoking Because, then Will stops and does not. If power asks why, then is power weakness. Also, reason is a lie, for there is a factor infinite and unknown, and all their words are stew-wise. Enough of Because, be he damned for a dog. Let the aspirant observe duly the feasts appointed by the AA, and perform such rituals of the elements as he possesseth, invoking them duly in their season. This is the 2nd practice of magic art. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verses 35 through 43. Let the rituals be rightly performed with joy and beauty. There are rituals of the elements and feasts of the times. A feast for the first night of the prophet and his bride. A feast for the 3 days of the writing of the Book of the Law. A feast for Tahuti and the child of the prophet, secret, O prophet. A feast for the supreme ritual, and a feast for the equinox of the gods. A feast for fire, and a feast for water. A feast for life, and a greater feast for death. A feast every day in your hearts in the joy of my rapture. A feast every night unto new, and the pleasure of uttermost delight. Let the aspirant apply himself to comprehend Hadit as a babe in the egg of the spirit, Akasha, that is invisible within the 4 elements. This is the 9th practice of intelligence. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verse 49. I am unique and conqueror. I am not of the slaves that perish. Be they damned and dead. Amen. This is of the 4, there is a 5th who is invisible, and therein am I as a babe in an egg. The aspirant, seated in his asana, will suddenly commence to breathe strangely, and this without the operation of his will. The inspiration will be associated with the thought of intense excitement and pleasure, even to exhaustion, and the expiration very rapid and forceful, as if this excitement were suddenly released. This is the first and last indication of the sign of the beginning of this result. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verse 63. Thou art exhaust in the voluptuous fullness of the inspiration. The expiration is sweeter than death, more rapid and laughterful than a caress of hell's own worm. A light will appear to the aspirant unexpectedly. Hadit will arise within him, and Nuit concentrate herself upon him from without. He will be overcome, and the conjunction of the infinite without with the infinite within will take place in his soul, and the one will be resolved into the none. This is the first indication of the nature of the result. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verses 61, 62, and 64. There is a light before thine eyes, O prophet, a light undesired, most desirable. I am uplifted in thine heart, and the kisses of the stars rain hard upon thy body. O, thou art overcome, we are upon thee, our delight is all over thee. Hail, hail, prophet of Nu, prophet of Had, prophet of Rahur-Ku. Now rejoice, now come in our splendor and rapture. Come in our passionate peace, and write sweet words for the kings. Let the aspirant strengthen his body by all means in his power, and let him with equal pace refine all that is in him to be the true ideal of royalty. Yet let his formula as a king's ought be excess. This is the third practice of ethics, Liber HAD, chapter 2, verses 70 and 71. There is help and hope in other spells. Wisdom says, be strong, then canst thou bear more joy. Be not animal, refine thy rapture. If thou drink, drink by the 8 and 90 rules of art. If thou love, exceed by delicacy. And if thou do aught joyous, let there be subtlety therein. But exceed, exceed. To the aspirant who succeeds in the practice, the result goes on increasing until its climax in his physical death, in its due season. This practice should, however, prolong life. This is the second indication of the nature of the result. Liber HAD, chapter 2, verses 66 and 72 through 74. Write and find ecstasy in writing. Work and be our bed in working. Thrill with the joy of life and death. Ah, thy death shall be lovely. Whoso seeth it shall be glad. Thy death shall be the seal of the promise of our age-long love. Come, lift up thine heart and rejoice. We are one, we are none. Strive ever to more, and if thou art truly mine, and doubt it not, and if thou art ever joyous, death is the crown of all. Ah, ah, death, death, thou shalt long for death. Death is forbidden, O man, unto thee. The length of thy longing shall be the strength of its glory. He that lives long and desires death much is ever the king among the kings. Let the adept aspire to the practice of Liber 11 and preach to mankind. This is the fourth practice of ethics, Liber HAD, chapter 2, verse 76. 4638 ABK 24 ALGMOR 3YX 2489 RPSTOVAL. What meaneth this, O prophet? Thou knowest not, nor shalt thou know ever. There cometh one to follow thee. He shall expound it. But remember, O chosen one, to be me, to follow the love of Nu in the starlit heaven, to look forth upon men, to tell them this glad word. Let the adept worship the name, foursquare, mystic, wonderful, of the beast, and the name of his house, and give blessing and worship to the prophet of the lovely star. This is the fifth practice of ethics, Liber HAD, chapter 2, verse 78 and 79. Lift up thyself, for there is none like unto thee among men or among gods. Lift up thyself, O my prophet, thy stature shall surpass the stars. They shall worship thy name, foursquare, mystic, wonderful, the number of the man, and the number of thy house, 418. The end of the hiding of Hadit, and blessing and worship to the prophet of the lovely star. Let the aspirant expand his consciousness to that of Nuit, and bring it rushing inward. It may be practiced by imagining that the heavens are falling, and then transferring the consciousness to them. This is the fifth practice of meditation, instruction of VVVVV. Summary, preliminaries. These are the necessary possessions, wine and strange drugs. Summary continued, preliminaries. These are the necessary comprehensions, the nature of Hadit and of Nuit and the relations between them. Summary continued, preliminaries. These are the meditations necessary to be accomplished, identification with Nuit, body and spirit, identification with Hadit as the snake, identification with Hadit as the rude cross, destruction of reason, the falling of the heavens, summary continued preliminaries. These are the ethical practices to be accomplished. The destruction of all unworthiness in oneself and one's surroundings. Fullness, almost violence of life. Summary continued preliminaries. These are the magic arts to be practiced. During the preparation, perform the invocation of the elements. Observe the feasts appointed by the AA. Summary continued the actual practice. Procure the suitable intoxication. As Nuit, contract thyself with infinite force upon Hadit. Summary continued the results. Peculiar automatic breathing begins. A light appears. Samadhi of the two infinites within aspirant. Intensification of 3 on repetition. Prolongation of life. Death becomes the climax of the practice. Summary concluded. These are the practices to be performed in token of thanksgiving for success. Aspiration to Liber 11, preaching of Thelema to mankind, blessing and worship to the prophet of the lovely star.